Welcome to lesson 13. It's Wednesday 16th of July 08. In the last lesson we were talking, I've rubbed this out and I've put these on here. In the last lesson we left off talking about this bass clef here. I want to just recap on this. Now I know when you're looking at this lot, music notation, it's going to seem a little bit boring, it's a bit music theory. Try to persevere through this. I'm just going to briefly cover this and we're going to get back onto guitar. We're going to start covering guitar tablature. But they both work together really, they intertwine, music notation and guitar tablature. Tablature is the easy way of doing guitar. But I don't want you to brush over this. I'm just going to briefly show and then I'm going to wipe it off and get on to guitar tab. So first of all, we call this the bass clef. These are clefs and this is the bass clef. I've wrote it here at the end of here, this middle C is shared between this half and this half. Below it are the bass sounds or the bass pitch, and above middle C are the treble sounds or treble pitch. If we go back onto here, when I was speaking about this one above here, the treble clef, also known as the G clef, it was G because it started on this line here, the second line up, which I'll talk about in a minute here. We go here, this is also called the F clef. Now I haven't wrote this here, I'm going to rub that out in a minute and do another one. I'll explain why it's called the F clef on the second line here in a little while. So that's just covered the clefs. If you look here, I've wrote a grand staff. This bracket is known as a grand staff. It joins the two together and the continuous line here joins the two together as well. If you look at each one of them, they comprise 5 lines each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically, if you look at this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you want to distinguish between what is music notation, the classical old way you might say of writing music, and guitar tablature, tab for short, guitar tablature has 6 lines, whereas this only has 5. When there's a bracket here, the grand staff, joining these two staves, of course one is just called a stave with 5 lines as a stave, 2 staves together, plural, is known as, well, when there's 2 joined together, it's generally for piano music. Let me just show you a book if I've got one here. For example here, we've got a grand staff joining these 2 together. I'll just come a bit closer. Okay, let's go. We're just going to talk about this top stave, these top 5 lines. Here we've got middle C below it, so it's not actually on a line. Of course, the next one up alphabetically, C, D, E, F, G. Let's go down here, just continue this. So you've got your middle C here, there's a little line, imaginary line going through it called a ledger line. So we've got C, D, E on the line, F in space, G on the next line, A, B, C, D, E, F and so forth. So it's just the alphabet really from the middle C on a piano. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F and so forth. You can continue up. Now, a way to remember these 2 underneath CD, just to think of a music CD. But from the lines you quite often hear this for the E, good for the G, boy for the B, deserves D for the D, look, fruit for the F. So every good boy deserves fruit. To remember the ones in between, the spaces in between the lines, is F, A, C, E. It actually spells the word face. A lot of people are quite familiar with this. Every good boy deserves fruit for the lines, and F-A-C-E for the spaces in between. But if you join them all together, you've just got an alphabetical arrangement of C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. If you look at the face here, I've just wrote the letter underneath. It's what matters is these red dots. F, let's look for the next space. A, C, E, face. Now I want to come back up here. Now when we put in these sharp signs in, it might just have one. You can just look up here for now. It might just have one, it might have two, or it might have three. That represents what's known as the key, or the key scale signature. Key signature they call it. I like to call it key scale signature, but it's all about here. These scales we've already covered. For example, if we just had one sharp wrote there, and incidentally it would be wrote here too, because that is F and that's another F. So just to have one, we'd actually be covering this scale here. But we'll go back onto that later on. Notice it just got the one. Right, the next one, I'm just showing you these figures that you quite often come across in books. You've got these these numbers, 4 over 4 here, you've got 4 over 4 here. It's just a time signature. What that really means, it's the beat of the song. In this case it would be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so forth. It just keeps repeating each bar. It's 4 beats per bar, repeating through the song. It could go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the tempo. The tempo is the speed. We could go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a slow tempo. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's a quicker tempo. So it's just 4 beats. Just ignore the bottom 4 for now. 4 beats per bar. And a bar, you'd see, well, like that. You might have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've covered that, the time signature. They call it a signature. An indicator really is a word I would like to use. Now, sometimes you see a C, like these, and that means common time. A common time is this 4/4. It's the most popular one, so we just call it common time. Sometimes it doesn't have any numbers or a C, and if it doesn't have, it's still common time. Just do 4/4. If there's nothing there, no indications of numbers, 3 over 4 or a C, just use 4/4 time, 4 beats per bar. Now I just want to show, I've already covered this top one here, every good boy deserves fruit, and with the C, D underneath, so C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. I'm going to rub that out because I want to teach you this one to remember these. I'm afraid I'm going to have to rub them all out. Okay, to remember these lines here, we're going to just start at the bottom line here. That bottom line is a G. So if I just write G for the bottom line, okay, the next line is a B, the next line is a D, the next one is an F, as we remember for this F clef there, and the top line is A. Now above there, of course, your natural, I'm just going to put it small, B in between there, and we reach middle C again. Look, bracket around the middle C. We haven't got an alphabetical arrangement there,